Welcome back to And Just Like Yap. I am Andi.
I'm Caroline.
And we are back. We are headed back to the Stanford Prison experiment, housed in a horny mattress firm.
How are you feeling after your first full week of Love Island as a first time viewer?
Oh my God, blessed. Really blessed.
I told you, it's sort of like you sink into it. You just like get into the rhythm of like, okay, I'm checking in with them today. How are they doing in the aquarium? Like
it's exactly, really nice. And it's really nice to be like in the middle of your workday and be like, ooh, there's something going to be waiting for me at the end of the day. We're checking in on these freaks. I see why it works. I'm into it. I'm scandalized by it. These people are nuts. Like I'm in. I'm here for the ride. Yeah. How are you feeling in our first week?
End of episode 4, I was like, we got a season.
Yeah.
I thought, because the thing is, on average, I think like most every season of Love Island, they need 2 to 3 days to really get used to the fact that they're in the villa. So we're not seeing the true behavior. But like by episode 4, we're starting to see the quirks. We're starting to see where people are anxious. What their weird things where they haven't been therapized and they've like let, stay unresolved.
Yep.
And we've got a mix of people. And I think we got a season is what I'm going to say. I was like, I feel pretty confident about what's going to continue to happen. Mentally, they may not be well, but for us, incredible television.
Incredible. On that note, let's jump right into it. Our first topic, we're going to cover all of the current couples as they currently stand. It is currently the 10th of June, so we are on the Wednesday off that we are recording this. And so these are where the couples currently are, and we're going to go through each one. First on the docket is Zach and Kayda. How are we feeling about Zach and Kayda?
Okay, before we get into the couple, Kayda is stunning. I am not the first person, I am not the last person to say it. Kayda has that intimidating presence of like the combo of just like aura and just like look, the face card. Like I don't know that I could have a conversation around her. Like also I know she's like 5'9", 5'10". She would tower over both of us.
Yeah.
Like just it's not fair. This woman has it all, and the fact that again she's from New Hampshire, which she went and made sure to go up to every single person on the island to ask if you know where New Hampshire is.
And
which is
many
so
of them did not.
They did not know. Fortunately, I got to shout out my dear friends, Sarah and Grace, that I met studying abroad. They went to Keene State College in Keene, New Hampshire. I did my senior spring break in Keene, New Hampshire.
That's really funny.
And it's like a Stars Hollow town. They fun fact, filmed Jumanji there. And one of their friends that I made out with, and said he gave me a tour of the town at night. It was like, honestly, great move.
Everybody else was at Senior Frogs, and you were in Keene, New Hampshire.
I was in Keene, New Hampshire, where they also had an ice sculpture contest in the main town, and there was a working grandfather clock. I gotta say, shout out to New Hampshire.
That's very interesting, because like I'm trying to imagine Kayda like walking around Stars Hollow, and like all of the townsfolk are
in New England.
Yeah,
like imagine like Kayda like at a Patriots game.
Yeah,
like she
also
so funny.
has like the perfect level of like rasp to her voice.
Yes.
Yeah, she is an intoxicating individual. Although, as the week progressed, some of the like confidence and riz, like the cracks are starting to show. How do we feel about her and Zach as a couple? I feel like they are on pretty strong footing because they both seem on a scale of like on the logic scale that you have to apply to like these people, they seem pretty grounded.
Totally.
As the week went on, the cracks did start to show, and I don't think they're on as solid footing as they once were, but I think overall they are one of the more solid couples.
They have the dynamic that I think works well in a couple where he knows that she is fully out of his league.
Yeah.
And that he is so lucky to be with her, and he's going to do everything to keep that, which I think is one of the strongest dynamics that you can have, along with one of the ones I've been reading on the internet lately. It's like evil witch and then her henchman who just like goes like, so I think it's like it's one of those like archetypes that I was like, yeah, this dynamic makes sense to me, because sometimes when you are that hot, you can't have someone who's like equally as hot as you, because they're gonna find someone hotter.
Yeah.
You want someone who just constantly knows they're so lucky to be in your aura.
Right. They both also have like an overall calmer energy than other people.
Yeah.
Overall.
And they also do my favorite thing, that's basically what they did in Love Actually, when Colin goes to the bar in Wisconsin and she keeps asking him to tell her like British slang.
Yeah.
You know when they go, they're like, bottle? Say bottle?
Yeah.
Oh, table. That's the same. Like, it's just, there's that little thing that they constantly get to surprise each other because she is American and he's British. And it's just kind of, I don't know, there's some like wacky sitcom stuff to it that I really appreciate. But Kayda, I'm intoxicated by her.
I know.
I really... If she doesn't have a Savage X Fenty contract waiting for her when she exits Fiji, I will be shocked. I will be shocked.
Agreed. Our next couple is Bryce and Trinity. I did not expect this when we first started this season, and it seemed like they weren't that into each other. There was a pretty big age gap. I know, you were like, just wait. There was a pretty big age gap between the two of them. They both stepped on red at that challenge and both like went off to try and see if there were greener pastures elsewhere and then came back together. They are endgame for me. Like, I think they're going to walk out of here a couple. And the reason I think that, they're friends. They're like becoming friends. They're realizing that they're both like really goofy. Trinity is letting her guard down more because like Trinity's a baddie. I mean, she's also so fucking funny.
She's like the daughter of Jada and Serena from season 6. Like, she is like made in a lab between the two of them. She's just got such great personality to her. But again, this is another one of the archetype dynamics that I think works well, where she's mean to him and he loves it. That's also another successful dynamic, is when you can be mean to your partner and they're like, yes, ma'am. That's also, I think that's one of the 3 great relationship archetypes.
She's learning that like Bryce is actually a trustworthy guy. Like,
He loves to gossip. He loves to yap.
He loves to yap.
He wants to yap about the other couples, and that, again, that's the infinity symbol.
Yeah.
You want a partner who can yap.
Yes, you want a partner who can yap. One of the things I really, really liked that he did was that and we'll talk about the bombshells in a minute, but when the bombshells came in, that makes everybody insecure, obviously. And the first thing he did, he recognized one of the women, and before it had any chance to fester and be weird, he turned right to Trinity and was like, I know that woman. I thought that was such a smart move, because if he hadn't done that and she found that out even 5 minutes later, now it's weird. Now it's suspicious.
They also, the fact that they both gave each other a chance to explore and see what was out there and not freak out about it and realize those people aren't for us, and they allowed them to come back to each other without there being any pressure. Again, we're only 1 week in. As someone who's watched Love Island over and over again, you should not be locked in week 1. You don't need to be locked down yet. You should be exploring the other people, because I think that is part of why I think we've seen a lot of bombshells week 1, because they're not exploring the other people. They're not really having other conversations. So I really applaud them for both going to Paradise Cove in episode 2, because I think that was an important moment for both of them. It also gave us the great Challenger screenshots of the season of watching 3 people in bed together.
That was so weird.
Where are the mattresses for? I've been trying to figure out the logistics for days of like, where do they produce mattresses that large? I don't know.
But yeah, I think Bryce and Trinity are I think maybe they go out and explore again and come back to each other. Like, I think
they should.
You really cannot discount somebody who feels like home at the end of the day, who like lets you be yourself, and who also wants to talk shit about all these other fucking crazy people. Like, nothing bonds people more than talking shit about somebody else who's present.
God, I've seen what you do for other people. Please let me find a yapper. I just need a man who wants to yap with me. That's all I'm asking for.
It's the best. It's really the best. It's really, really the best. Men, learn to yap. Bea and Gabriel. Whoo boy. I don't think this is going to work out.
Okay. All right, well, I think we should start with, like, they had a very hot connection initially with them in Paradise Cove. I think what's interesting here, so Gabrielle is the, like, Love Island bombshell archetype to a T, coming in ready to just make out left and right. Bea is so interesting to me. I think she is such an interesting figure. on this show, because we love the fact that she's this Paralympian, athletic, very open about her disability, and is like so funny with the others, but finding out this insecurity about the fact that she's athletic and struggles with this like feminine piece of herself and like how men connect to that. And I think Gabrielle's been able to get that out of her.
Yeah.
But I do worry like what's going to happen long term. I think there is a world where it could be okay, but like I also appreciate her saying that if he turns his head and he's like not with her, she's like, he's not meant for her. And I do appreciate like that piece, like she's not freaking out about it like some other people we'll talk about in a second. I think like she's got her head on her shoulders about this connection.
At least externally she's not freaking out about it in a way that is then causing more drama, like other people in the villa who tend to turn their freak out inside out and ruin everybody else's day and evening. I don't know. My issue with Gabrielle is I think that no matter who he's with, if he stays, every time new female bombshells come in, he's going to want to make out with them. Like, he's just going to want to make out with them, which isn't necessarily a bad thing on Love Island. The thing that bothers me is that you have Bea sitting there being like, I think our connection is strong enough that you would tell me. Right? And then he just goes,
correct.
But doesn't actually tell her. You can see that he's kind of faking it to make it, that he's like, he seems like he's like run out of like interest and energy for this connection and isn't really being honest with her about it. It causes drama in these conversations between the couples when one of them candidly says, hey, I want to explore other connections. But you have to have those conversations, and he's just opting out of not having them and instead is being like, yeah, everything's fine, don't worry about it. When they did the fire pit recoupling, I clocked it that he did not seem as excited. Like, Aniya and KC, which we'll talk about in a second, I felt like I was attending their wedding and watching their vows when they did their recoupling. And then you have, like, Bea gives this speech about how this man makes her feel feminine, and then he didn't seem that psyched. And it was a small thing, and I was like, I don't know if she's going to clock it. She clocked it!
Give him another week. I think, like, this is someone who, I've seen players, like, on this show. Maybe he won't last another week, but, like, he could crack.
So our next topic is Kenzie and Corbin. How are we feeling?
Okay. So we should talk about, so Corbin, we met Corbin during the Boss Bitch Challenge.
Yes.
Where the girls were essentially reenacting the music video from The Man, which is not the first time on this podcast I'm bringing it up. It won't be the last. On the Eras tour, where they're in these like suit outfits with bikinis underneath, and they're doing like the splits on the table in front of the boys because they had to kiss a boy they weren't coupled up with. They answered a question that was like in a folder, and then they went up and got this money. But when they went up in this room to put money in their bikini, which like didn't really make any sense, Corbin was hiding in there as a secret bombshell. Corbin is
22.
I don't know about you, but he's feeling 22. And he has like the deepest voice.
It's deep, but it also feels like, I don't know that he's necessarily putting it on. There is some affect of like him trying to come off, I think, more chill than he is. And I say this as someone who has done this personally. There's a level that's like weird because I think he is only 22. He is a baby and his voice is very deep, but he's sort of, I don't know, he seems to be kind of like, I am super calm and super chill in a way that you're like, buddy, you're just trying on this personality. I'm not sure this is you.
He said one of the most shocking things I've heard anyone say that he's never been to a concert and YouTube is better. Which, okay, we love YouTube. Thank you for subscribing to us. If you haven't subscribed to us on Just Like Yap, subscribe while you're here. But this is where phones are bad. I'm sorry. You are not going to get the same experience watching, I don't know, Paul McCartney on your phone as you are in person.
No, but he's 22 now in 2026. That means the pandemic, he was, what, 16?
16.
Okay, so
going on 17.
He's still a pandemic baby. He went to high school online during the pandemic. Maybe that's why he's never been to a concert. Like, he's kind of an iPad baby.
Okay, but we've had enough time for him to, get sponsored by a brand to go to Stagecoach. Like, it's just, like, And I can't wait to see everyone on season 8 of Love Island USA at Stagecoach and Coachella next year. I will be looking forward to your brand partnership.
Yeah.
But I find that sus. That's like saying, I don't know, I haven't
eaten at a restaurant.
I haven't been to a restaurant. I haven't had eggs. Like, it just, I don't know. That's just like a crazy broad statement to make.
Don't worry, Corbin. The protein powders are currently lining up to introduce themselves to you. Every protein powder company is lining up their pitch to sponsor you. So you will be going to Coachella, as Caroline said. And
I can't wait.
Yeah.
But our girl Kenzie finally got to have options, which I was so happy for her. 'Cause I hope she's grown on you, because I really like her. I think she's the Kaylor. I think she's the Kaylor of this season.
She has grown on me. I mean, much like all of the men in that Office Boss Bitch Challenge, man, she can really dance. I see the competitive dancer came out. Like, all of those years of slicking her hair back in a bun and putting on a little rhinestone next to her eye. Like, she really stepped into it and impressed me and impressed everyone.
There's a world where I would love to see her try out for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. I could see her doing the solo dance in front of my girls.
I think she has a future on Dancing with the Stars, for sure.
1,000%.
Yes.
She's got, and I loved her move where she was like, I'm not going to make eye contact with Zach. I don't know. I thought that, was really funny for me. But she and Sean, before Corbin came in, started, having a light connection.
They were faking it till they made it. They had good friend energy. I think it was nice that they were taking care of each other as the two vulnerable singles, but it didn't seem like they had, an actual connection.
We found out the secret was when the girls were recoupling, Corbin got a separate text saying because he was the newest bombshell, he got to pick first, but not to tell anyone until he went to the fire pit. And so he picked Kenzie, and that made sense to me. Sean went home.
It was fun to see. Kenzie's been so down and out, feeling so rejected, having no options to being, the prettiest girl at the dance, because not only did she have the option between Corbin and Sean, she also turned a couple heads with that dance routine. And other people who had not been interested in her previously suddenly were like, oh, maybe Kenzie.
But the funniest thing with the two of them, I think, was it last night's episode where they talked about the hand size, or was it Monday?
It was, who knows at this point?
Who knows? But she's like, oh, he's got big hands. You know what that means? Which we all know what that means. But I will say, as someone who is tight, when you see someone with, that big of a hand, I think we talked about this with Jacob Elordi, just that's able to, palm your entire face.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a basketball and you're holding me with one hand, and you have the grip strength to hold my whole head with one hand. I mean, listen, big hands does mean big something else, but also big hands on their own are very effective for the same purpose that the big something else. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 1 = 2.
So big hands on their own.
I will say it's funny also with Corbin, before we hop into our next couple. I noticed he's also feeling the insecurity. Yes. I think a little bit. He's someone who's never been turned down. And I think quickly all the girls were very into him. And then now no one's really showing interest in Corbin.
He's a little baby. I mean, Trinity is also 22, but Trinity is a very mature 22.
Well, she's a woman.
She's a woman, yeah. But also, Trinity feels like a fully realized adult at 22 in a way that, Corbin still feels like a baby. And, you can tell that he moved out of his parents' house and then came to Fiji. You know what I mean? Whereas that may be true of lots of other people on the show, but,
totally.
It feels like his mom washed his laundry and then he came onto Love Island.
Oh, she packed him for Fiji.
Yeah.
She put his name inside all the clothes, when we went to sleepaway camp.
Exactly.
She ironed the labels.
On that note, just this is an aside, as someone who spent many years going to sleepaway camp, There are so many aspects of this show that, like, I'm weirdly very drawn to in a sleepaway camp way of, like, like, yeah, the bed situation is still always going to be weird to me, but, like, everybody goes to bed at the same time. Everybody wakes up at the same time. There's a routine. We're all living together. Like,
there's an activity that happens.
Exactly.
Like, that everyone has to participate in.
It is so overnight camp in a way that I'm like, I don't want to go on Love Island, but boy, do I crave, like, maybe I need to be on a commune. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and Ariana's a camp counselor. She comes in and tells them, like, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. There's something very, very appealing to me.
And for me, going to Christian summer camp, we're just missing everybody praying. God is definitely not in that villa. I will say, God is not anywhere adjacent to that villa.
There's some spiritual entity in the fire pit, but it's not God.
It's dark. it's the devil.
It's not God. It's not God. Oh boy, Casey and Aniya. Okay. Definitely one of the strongest couples. Like, that's obvious to everyone. The cracks have started to show. The main thing I wanted to personally say about Aniya is she is everybody's best friend and everybody's therapist. Like, I want this woman to be making an extra cut of money because every single person in the villa, male and female, goes to Aniya to, like, calm down, get clarity, get friendship and support, and she's more than happy to give it, but, like, I'm like, she is giving so much of herself not only to KC, but to managing, like, the social politics of Love Island as a whole. I'm like, you need to be giving her, like, producer money.
I'm just really obsessed with her. Here's what I'm gonna say. I still have one eye open about Casey. I don't really trust him still. I think there's other people online, like, coming around to this as well, and I think especially with last night's challenge, or in the giant bed challenge, because he made this gorgeous comment to her several days ago. There's a whole conversation. He was like, Black women don't get enough respect, and I thought it was, like, this really beautiful, wonderful, layered conversation. But then we have Saul and Jin come in. He has lots of red paint. He makes a big joke out of it, and Aniya's really upset because I think also there is the layer that Saul is very light-skinned. She apparently looks like one of his exes. It undercuts basically what he said to Aniya. And if I were her, that would also make me feel anxious.
Yeah.
Because I would think, great, my days are numbered. Actually, did you mean anything you said to me?
Sure.
So I'm kind of curious to see how things evolve in the next few days with him.
I still am rooting for Casey. I'm still rooting for them as a couple. I think the danger is it is only week one, and it does sort of feels like Aniya is in the headspace of, like, this is it for me. And Casey is not in that headspace, but when he's, like, works up the nerve to be honest about it, it really sends Aniya into a tailspin because of all of the, like, this is what's so complicated about the show, and this also happened with Zach and Kayda, where before they went to bed, Zach was like, I told the bombshells I'm off limits. I'm not interested. I'm just pursuing you. Then he didn't sleep all night because he was like, oh my God, I have a girlfriend now. And told Kayda the next day, like, hey, I'm going to pump the brakes on what I just said to you the night before, which then sent her into a tailspin. I think there's a similar thing going on with Casey and Aniya where, like, she feels really solid. He's giving her every reason to feel solid. But then when he is reminded of the circumstances of the situation that he should still be open, it's throwing her for a loop, and rightfully so. I think it's tough. I still think they're a pretty strong couple, and I think he does a good job of recognizing his behavior and then apologizing for his behavior, but you really don't know how forthright he's actually being.
I think what I'm really hoping for in the week ahead, I would like a really hot bombshell that's Aniya's type to come in and really turn her head. I don't think she's been tested yet. Like, I don't think there's been anyone else that has been on the same level. Like, because Corbin, she was, like, sort of into, but not really. So I'm really hoping that, like, I don't know, someone else really comes in and put her head on a swivel. Because I think she deserves to have, like, another person come in and
the thing is, I think previous people could have, but she even said to KC, she was like, I need you to realize that, like, I have had the opportunity to have my head on a swivel, and I have resisted it because I knew that would make you feel a certain way. That was kind of the moment where Casey's like, oh, okay, this woman isn't just, like, here for me because she likes me. She's also, like, trying to take care of me by not having her head turned by other people in the same way that, like, everyone else has. We'll talk about the bed challenge in a second, but I want to specifically point out with Aniya, she was the only one who didn't just straight up start kissing everybody.
Yeah. She, like, went and, like, felt them. Trinity, she also stopped, like, as soon as she felt Bryce, which I was like, oh, interesting.
Right. Like, that was interesting to me. Melanie and Sincere. Oh, my God.
Okay. I made an early prediction that Kenzie was going to be the Hutta, and I was wrong. I was very wrong. Melanie is the Hutta. Melanie is the Hutta of this season in that she has come in and made all of her issues everybody's problem. Anytime anything happens, it is the villa's problem. Anytime Sincere talks to another woman, it's the villa's problem. Anytime Melanie messes up, it's the villa's problem. And that's where you're going to create problems for yourself very quickly with the audience as we enter into a vote where they're going to impact your status on the island, that you have to sort of, like, remember you're not playing just with everyone else in the villa. There are, as I said, I think this is triple the amount of viewership in the first week of the last 2 seasons of Love Island USA. I think 840 million minutes have been watched in the first week.
We're all doing so badly personally that everybody, myself included, who have never watched a Love Island, we're like, I have nothing to live for. Maybe I'll try this.
I'm telling you, it's like the consistency it provides for you in like a season where everything feels very unmoored. I feel very grounded when I'm on the island.
Everyone's like, I can't afford groceries. I can't afford therapy. Yeah. This is a nightly thing that I can look forward to and take me out of my life. I'm not going to start reading books again. So like, no. This is it.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Put my brain on mute. Like I call it my Love Island lobotomy for 6 weeks. This is off. And now I've sort of come full circle where I'm like, oh God, I think she's realizing way too late the impact of all of her actions and how they're affecting her couple. And because how old is Melanie? Is she 24?
I don't 25? Remember. I think she's somewhere around there.
She's 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, the frontal lobe is not fully there yet. And it's quite apparent.
I am sure that this is the result of horrible men being horrible to her as well. 1,000%. So, like, she has to take responsibility for it, but, like, I do not doubt that she has been mistreated by men in the past, because she is behaving as though she has been mistreated by men in the past.
It's like tough because I think, as us in our mid-30s, I'm not saying upper 30s, we're mid-30s. Mm-hmm. I think there is this sort of, like, I think the pain we feel watching Melanie is because we've been there ourselves.
Oh, my God, yes.
Ugly part of ourselves, like, when we were at that age of, freaking out all night when a guy isn't texting us or letting us know what they're doing. And it's so painful to watch because you want to shake them to say, like, it's going to be okay. But I know what that, like, creeping anxiety feels when you feel like you're at risk of them not being interested in you. And that feels like that's your entire world. It's terrible.
I feel that feeling the most watching her when I am watching her do destructive shit. Like,
yes.
She says she's open to have a conversation, and then she doesn't hear what she wants to hear and completely shuts down and gets defensive. Like, there are just certain behaviors that she does that I'm like, I remember being 24 and thinking that I was going to solve this problem by getting back at this person immediately, by shutting down and crying in this conversation. There was a long period of time in my 20s where I was like, the way that and it wasn't even conscious. It was like, if this person's not telling me what I want to hear, I shut down, I start crying, that's the way I get what I want.
Totally.
And she's realizing that that's not the way she's going to get what she wants. It's hard to watch her. It's hard to watch her, and it's hard to watch other people, like Aniya, for example. And now everybody, you can see everybody's like, done with it. Everybody, every time she's in a group of people, it's like in the episode of Sex and the City where Carrie can't stop talking about, like, her breakup with Big.
And she's like, go to therapy.
Exactly. Yeah. And everyone's sitting there being like, can you please just go sit in the confessional and, like, tell the producers, like, I can't talk to you.
As painful as it is to watch, I hope that she takes this as this is, like, a core lesson for herself, for growth beyond the villa, because I think as painful, because I'm so glad none of this was on a television when I was, when you're texting Min at 1 a.m, when you're like, why won't you respond to me? Why did you choose this over me? Being insecure. And I hope that this is a core learning experience for her to realize this is not a tactic that you can do in a successful, healthy relationship. No successful, healthy connection can be born from this behavior. Whereas realizing that Sincere is an oldest child makes so much sense to me. And especially the way that he's been handling this dynamic as an oldest child. Like, I think there is, like, a sense that you can handle this behavior to a moment because you're like, okay, I can, like, take care of this, because you're sort of used to, like, handling the situation. You're like, I can temper this behavior, let you know it's going to be okay, I can protect you, but at some point, you do have to choose yourself as, like, the eldest.
Yeah.
Which I think is what we're seeing
And
happen.
she is not good at taking responsibility. When she gets questioned, for example, when she said to Sincere, like, I need you to be a friend right now, because she had treated him very badly and then, like, had gone on and explored another connection and then got into a fight with the girls and needed some support. And she was like, I need you to be a friend. He then the next day was like, hey, that made me feel really shitty when you said that. And she tried to recontextualize it as like, no, I didn't mean it the way you thought I meant it. And it's like, you did. And then with the bed challenge, like, she kind of lies. She lies. She tries to find it. And again, I'm saying this as somebody who remembers being 24 and doing this. Yeah. She doesn't take responsibility fully. She's like, no, I didn't know it was you versus Corbin. Girl.
And for her to, like, finally have the light bulb go off at the end, she's like, I just can't, I think Sincere is too good to be true. And I'm like, oh my God. I feel that in my gut. Like, I just want to hug her and kiss her on the head a little bit. Give her the Temple Grandin hugging machine. Yeah. I wish I could have one in my home. I think about that, like, once a week. If I had
$1 million, you've brought it up a few times.
For myself. As someone who lives alone, I just want the hug machine in my home. I don't need a man.
If you work for the Temple Grandin Foundation, we are open to sponsorships.
Open. Our birthdays are coming up. If Andi and I could each get the Temple Grandin hug machine for our birthdays.
We will. We can put ourselves in the same location if we can only have one go at it.
But yeah, I think something like, I just want to, like, hug her and, like, make her, like, really put her in, like, a, because it's just, she's her worst enemy. Like, her inner saboteur is really, because I think Sincere has done a good job until this point of, like, trying to reassure her over and over again. He's hitting his limit, and that makes sense.
It does make sense.
He's got the hair of Dwayne the Rock Johnson's horrible wig in the
Moana movie,
the live action Moana. Yeah, he's got like the actual, like, good version of that, like Dwayne the Rock wishes.
Sincere's been using a diffuser.
The diffuser.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Okay, let's move on. This is a good pivot because we're going to pivot into bombshells. Our bombshells are Soul, Jen, and Caleb. Since we were just talking about Sincere, let's talk about Soul first. I think this is a really smart bombshell on the part of the producers. Number one, Soul is, like, one of the most gorgeous people I've ever seen in my entire life. Soul is also, we're in the middle of, like, all of the women sort of getting very, very insecure and behaving badly because they're insecure. You throw in Soul, who I don't know that I've ever seen someone who feels more secure and self-possessed. I mean, let's give her a week in the villa and see where she's at. But it was a really smart decision to bring in someone who is not only gorgeous, but seems very, very secure in herself, very comfortable with herself, like, very confident, doesn't seem rattled at all by the circumstances of the villa.
Okay, well, she looked like someone who would have done well in season 3 of America's Next Top Model. Yeah. She would do so well on old ANTM. I think the revelation of her saying that her dad passed, I was like, this makes so much sense to me that she's so secure. Because, like, when you've lost a parent like that, it's sort of, I think the stuff that, like, that can cause you, like, normal insecurity, like, before you lose someone that important in your life, it just sort of goes by the wayside. You sort of, like, get to, like, what's important. And, I mean, like, obviously you still have insecurities, but I think that grief sort of forces you to reckon with, like, your identity and your sense of self. So when she revealed that, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense to me, why she's moving the way that she's moving.
Well, maybe, like, would you say... So, like, at some point as adults, we all have to come to the conclusion that, like, we have to start parenting ourselves. Would you say, as someone who's experienced parental loss, that, like, you have to get good at that kind of immediately because you don't have a choice? So I think maybe that's what we're picking up on is, like, this is someone who's acknowledged that they have to kind of be their own parental support system. So that puts you just in a more grounded, self-possessed place than a lot of these other people.
I think that's, like, very accurate. I just think, like, the way that she's talking about it, it's not like she hasn't processed that piece of herself and like has let that fester. Like, I think she has a very healthy relationship with the grief that's, like, informed her sense of self. Her energy is so fascinating so far. Obviously, we've only had 2 days with her, so we'll see what she's like in a week.
Yeah.
But I think, like, so far it's very grounded.
Yeah. She kissed a couple boys
Gabriel.
on oh my god, the drama of, like, Gabriel taking her to Soul Ties immediately.
Oh yeah, Soul Ties is serious business, but I love the way that she was able to unpack that he was a bad kisser without saying he's a bad kisser.
Yeah,
was so
she was
incredible.
like, I can taste the pheromones and they're wrong, and it was like it was amazing. It was amazing because Gabriel has really, I don't know, he's been exuding this confidence of, like, I'm the greatest kisser in the world. For her to kiss him and then immediately afterward in the confessional be like, no. It was so good. It was so good.
I was like, whack him again. Whack him again.
I know, he needs to be knocked down. She and Sincere seem to have, like, an actual real connection.
Yeah.
And, like, the kisses are good. They can't seem to stop kissing each other. Sincere needed the breath of fresh air of, like, somebody not just emotionally abusing him constantly.
She actually, like, asks him questions about him.
Yeah.
I think Melanie's whole thing is, you know, she's projecting her insecurities onto something. He has to constantly reassure her. This is the most we've seen Sincere open up. Like, when they went to the Say Less area, like, I was like, wow, this is really lovely to hear him get to, like, open up about these other aspects of his life.
Yeah. So I think we're headed in that direction, which makes me sad for Mel, but I think this is, unfortunately, what needs to happen because she and Sincere can't keep doing what they're doing. It's ruining everybody else's experience.
The vibe.
Yeah. It's killing the vibe.
I'll say, as someone who went through a whole season of Hurricane Hutta, we're going to feel so much lighter if we get her out now, because having Hutta on the entire last season really brought down the vibes for everyone. So we can't have it again.
It seems
America,
like
exercise your right to vote.
Let's talk about Jen. Jen has not made, like, a huge impression on me, I will be honest. But Caroline, you take the floor, please.
Okay, the boys ask Jen and Saul what their red flags are. Jen, okay, so we find out, which we touched on briefly, she's a model, and her and Bryce have worked on photo shoots together and have known each other for a while.
Yes.
And he's like, she's a cool girl, but he's not into her. But I love that, like, it's interesting to sort of see that connection. It makes sense, because, like, I think, like, you know, I don't know, how many models are there on the planet? 1,000? They all gotta know each other.
Hot people know each other.
Hot people, yeah, they're right in the same circles. They're all at Soho House.
Yeah.
But she says her red flag is when men make insecure comments about Taylor Swift. And I gotta say, baby girl, you and I, spiritually aligned. It is one of my top red flags, that along with when men say the same things about Bravo, because they love to knock down on women's interests and think that they're silly, and that they're stupid, and that we are small-minded for liking those things, when actually the things that Taylor Swift is talking about are so emotionally in-depth, and they allow you to look more internally on the things that you've experienced in yourself. She does such a great job of talking about relationships, friendships, your own personal demons that you're working through. Along with Bravo, it explores relationships and friendship dynamics, relationship dynamics. You also say the same things watching your basketball teams, your video games. Like, you're no better.
Even without going as deep as you just went, like, I don't know, let people be into the things that they're into.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, and on that note, Jen seems to have a pretty good connection with Zach for that reason. I think he sussed out, first of all, it does seem like he is a genuine, like, pop music fan and likes Taylor Swift, but I also think that he heard her say that and was like, I can use this to my advantage because I am not that kind of guy that she's talking about that's a red flag.
The reveal that Zach was a directioner, I was squealing. Of course she loves Niall, but the fact that I was like, him saying, oh, I've modeled everything after Zayn, I was like, yeah, of course you have. I can see through that 1,000%, and also famously Taylor and Zayn did do a duet together for the 50 Shades soundtrack several years ago, but it's that everything clicked for me in that moment. The fact that he got the hoop earring because of Zayn, I was like, oh, this guy was going off when it was the thick of the One Direction era heyday. I'm sure he's read the Larry fan fiction on Wattpad. That's about Louis and Harry being actually in love with each other.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a whole world. Yeah, I would love to see Zach's Tumblr. I would love to see it. That is something I have a lot of deep interest that I would like to see.
Yeah. We'll see if anything happens between the two of them. We'll talk about the vote in a second. It's funny, like, Kayda's behavior was pretty messy because she got mad at Zach for being like, we should still be open. But if you see it from her perspective, this man literally said, I was really upset to see you, like, kissing the bombshell because I really like you and I take this seriously. I told the new female bombshells that, like, I'm not interested. I'm closed off. She was so excited about that. They went to bed, and then he woke up the next day and, like, had a full 180 and was like, I don't want to be closed off. Like, what person hasn't had that horrible red flag moment where you're like, someone literally told me 24 hours ago one thing, now they're telling me the other? There may be some trouble in paradise with Zach and Kayda that could lead to a Zach and Jen. Let's talk a little bit about Caleb. I don't have a ton to say about Caleb.
I got a lot.
I think he's kind of boring. It was pretty clear when he came in that all of the girls knew that he was specifically meant for Kenzie.
A North Carolina boy from Asheboro, famously, where the North Carolina Zoo is located. I was like, I know this guy. I went to high school with this guy. I went to college with this guy. He's also in Southern Charm. The fact that he said he moved to Charleston, I was like, of course he did, because that is also the Charleston archetype. He looks like Shep Rose from Southern Charm's, like, second cousin. Also Austin Kroll. Like, very much the golden boy, sweet little country boy that is gonna probably move back to Raleigh. He's gonna get a house in a subdivision. He's got season tickets to NC State. And I'm glad he came in for Kenzie. A thing I do appreciate about Caleb, he works a trade. This more than needs to be doing trades. He works on elevators.
He does elevators.
That is a man who is working with his hands, and he's not typing on Reddit.
For now, until he's running the protein powder influencer gambit, which will happen. The one thing I will say, Kenzie's reaction to Caleb coming in makes sense because she had already established, I want, like, a country boy. I get it. I did think it was a little bit icky in the sense that, like, okay, so predominantly we have men of color so far. Yeah. Before Caleb comes in. And for Kenzie to be like, I know this isn't what she meant, but for Kenzie to be like, thank God. And it sort of just reads as like, yeah, the blonde white lady is like thanking God that, like, there's a white guy in here now. It was.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I 1,000% get what you're saying. Because I think it's like, I think her and Corbin, they obviously have, like, a sexual connection.
Yes.
But I think that's which is, like, great. Have a good time. She should have a roster of that. I'm glad she's, like, actually having one for the first time. Because I think also as, like, you know, someone from the South, and I, like, see this a lot with, like, people that I've grown up with, they didn't really date a lot of people. So I'm at least, like, glad she's, like, put herself in a situation where she could be, you know, Baptist, married at 23. Like, I'm glad she's putting herself in a position where she's exploring, and again, albeit a very unconventional way. I don't know, I'm excited for our girl. I think Caleb makes sense to me, but also, again, it's early days.
Girl drama that erupted this week was mainly between Bea and Melanie.
And Kayda. Sincere pulled Kayda for a chat, and Melanie, which is, like, sort of the what the first that cause all the other reactions.
Yeah, the what is it? The Franz Ferdinand.
The Lusitania.
The Lusitania. Yeah.
The Lusitania of Love Island.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Melanie freaked out when literally the whole conversation was, what eggs do you like? Like, there's nothing to it.
There was nothing to it at all. She freaked out. And then Corbin comes in, and we're at the fire pit with Corbin, and Melanie is, like, not letting anybody have any... Yeah, she's leaning all the way in. And I have to say, I really thought Bea handled this interaction really well. I really like Bea. She's very grounded. And she just very frankly said, like, hey, we think your behavior's been, like, a little... disrespectful, and like we just want you to like take responsibility for that and move on. And of course Melanie freaked out and got really defensive. I will say, in a heightened situation, that's the last thing it's the last thing you want to hear from one of your friends of like. But Melanie did, when Melanie entered the villa, she said, if I'm being delusional, tell me, but she didn't mean it.
Well, and also it was interesting because in her intro clip package, she made a whole point to say that if you're a girl's girl, you shouldn't have to say it. And this whole like fight sort of explodes, and she was like, well, I apologize. Like, why? And the whole thing was Kenzie was single and vulnerable. Kenzie should be able to talk to the bombshell because she is the one who is not in a secure couple like everyone else to like have that option. And Melanie just could not put that in her head, so she like erupts, and she like, which has been memed to death already, about her saying, give me 10, give me 10, give me 10, give me 10, and just like stomps around the villa. Like, everyone has to stop all their conversations with how that's happening. And what was also funny when she has the fight with Sincere before this, it's Zach, Bryce, and Kayda on the bed together, and Kayda's like, oh, I want to watch what's happening.
I know. And then Melanie's like, nosy, like, because she can see them watching her. Melanie, I really am excited for you to grow and change.
Yeah, because also what I've not liked in her behavior when she's having conversations with Kayda. And she also kept purposefully forgetting Kayda's name.
I know.
Calling her Katie.
I know.
Which I was like, we see what you're doing, and we see through all of this. But also the thing that she did with both Bea and Kayda when she's having the reconciliation conversations with them, she immediately compliments them. She's like, oh, you're so beautiful, though. You're so gorgeous. You're so like, you're athletic. I'm not like that. And it just is this weird fawning behavior that she's doing to try to get them to forget what just happened.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, I remember having these like girl-on-girl chats with like friends that you've had a fight with, and then it results in you're both crying and complimenting each other, and you find out that the reason you had a fight is because you're both actually jealous of each other, but one of you's like, how could you be jealous of me? Like, so, there was part of me that really did love that moment. The main central thesis of this is Melanie is like the sun in the drama universe.
And Kayda is not one to fuck with. I just was like, I loved how it was just expert behavior watching her in the Boss Bitch Challenge, like taking the slime like a champ, and then it was incredible. It was incredible to watch. It was like if there was an Olympics for reality TV, it was really incredible.
I just also appreciated that at one point at the fire pit when Melanie's freaking out, Bea was like, I kind of don't care. Let's talk about this bed challenge. Whichever one of you Love Island producers came up with this bed challenge,
I love them.
You're a little freak. You're a little freak.
Okay. Again, did they drop it in by crane? Like, how did they get the bed into that villa?
I think it was probably multiple parts.
Ariana, give me the behind the scenes. I need to know how many mattresses was that? Like, where do you construct a bed frame like that?
I don't know. Did it have to be brought in on like a barge? Like, where did it come from? Where did it come from? Okay. The main thing I want to say about this bed challenge, as it got started and the women started getting on the bed with their paint, I was like, oh, the producers must have told them they have to kiss everybody. The producers must have said, one of the ways you figure out who's your partner is you have to kiss everybody. And then Aniya went, and she didn't. And I was like, you don't have to kiss everybody. Or Trinity went and only kissed up to a point when she found Bryce. And I was like, these women are just going for it. Which, like, on the one hand, they should do because it's early days and everybody should be exploring everything.
Yeah.
And the challenges are for kissing everybody. But on the other hand, there was no reason to kiss everybody when you could have used your other senses to find your partner. So it was very interesting to me because I thought, oh, they've been forced to kiss, but they hadn't. And Aniya was the only one who was like, I'm not going to kiss anyone who I don't know is my significant other.
I gotta say, as someone, as we frequently on this podcast want to make everything gay, Melanie and Trinity kissing, that was great for me. I was really happy. I was like, oh! I wanted more of that to happen. I was like, wow, we really could, like, get into it with the blindfolds on. I was like, yeah, this is, and the guys were Looney Tunesing their eyes out. It was also funny because in some ways you could say Corbin is a producer plant. Yeah. Because hours before this, he had sent to Kenzie, my fantasy is I want us to be in bed and, like, have a blindfold on and, like, look for my partner under the covers. And lo and behold, 5 hours later, there is a giant bed that's come from, I don't know, the Playboy Mansion. They bought it at the estate sale of Hugh Hefner.
It was really wild. The other thing I wanted to say about this is all the women got so upset because of the amount of red paint that each guy had on them. And I kept being like, they had no control over the amount of red paint on them. First of all, they had no control over, they were going to be kissed by the bombshells. That is how this game works. Also, they had absolutely no control over the amount of red paint that was put on them. They just didn't. And it didn't mean anything. Also, Casey, I know he was joking, but, like, red's a primary color, my guy. Like, there's a reason they gave them red. There are no colors that mix to make red.
I will say, I think what is interesting that, like, happens with that stuff is, like, I think the men sort of get mad when it's the girls act like the way that they do. Mm-hmm. They're upset when they see how their actions are reflected on them when the girls do it to them, and because they want to be the ones in power that have the options, that get to explore, they get to kiss, they get to have their cake and eat it too. When the girls do it, it's a problem. When it should be equal opportunity mess. I will be fast forwarding through any food challenges. I can't watch them. I can't do when they do a lot of baby bird challenges and things like that on previous seasons. No. I can't. If that is happening, I will be fast forwarding because I can't stomach it. It's really disgusting. So I hope the producers listened to the feedback from season 7 because they did at least 2 or 3 food challenges and I couldn't watch them.
I honestly thought the paint was kind of gross. I was having trouble with the paint.
I wanted to see the stage manager off screen going, all right, and bombshell enter now, as like one of the girls is making out of the, and okay, bombshell number 2. Go in. I stage right. Like the timing of how they brought them in was, it was incredible. Like the stakes just kept rising, and then the fact that all the boys had to watch the girls make out with Caleb with the masks off, like it was juicy. It was a great way to really heighten the tension.
Yeah, and really just fuck shit up. But also, like, to your point about, like, agreed upon sort of organized mess in the couples, Trinity was like, cool, I'm going to kiss up until I get to Bryce and then land on Bryce. And that felt like, I don't know, the two of them just do a really good job of, like, respecting each other's boundaries while still venturing out. Yeah. Casey made that remark that pissed off Aniya, which, like, I didn't think it was as bad as Aniya made it, but I understand why she feels the way that she does. And Mel clearly knew that she was kissing both Corbin and Sincere, and I played it up either because she wanted to keep kissing Corbin or I think more likely she wanted to keep fucking with Sincere because that's how she shows that she likes him, is by trying to ruin his life.
A challenge we didn't touch on that was also messy was the pool challenge.
Yes.
Where they had the questions about each other that revealed, like, information about their previous relationships and hookups, and they pushed the person in the pool. And I think sort of the biggest revelations that came out of that was, like, I think Sincere texted another woman while he was in another connection in the real world. Gabriel slept with a 52-year-old woman, and I have to say, there's nothing wrong with that. I was like, yeah, I'm sure he did. That is someone who absolutely, he doesn't care the age. That man is gonna fuck anyone left, right, and center. Oh, and the meme of that challenge was we found out Trinity gave head to her boyfriend while her mom was driving, and they asked her what happened. Like, well, she's like, well, it was daylight savings time, so it was dark.
Doesn't make any sense.
I love her. Put her on my TV forever. I love Trinity.
She's really great.
So much. I will be using "it was daylight savings time" in my lexicon for the rest of my life as an excuse for anything that I've done.
Let's bounce over to strongest connections. We're going to do some real ones and some funny ones. For me, strongest connections real are Trinity and Bryce, number one, and then second is Casey and Aniya. How do you feel about that?
I think we're aligned. Trinity and Bryce second. Strongest connection is Zach and Bryce.
Yeah.
I think they're neck and neck. I think I was like putting in our notes, anytime they show Zach, Bryce is right behind, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, they're always together, and it was also kind of funny after Paradise Cove because, it was Bryce, Zach, and Kayda. It was almost like a challenger situation for like an episode or two. Just the three of them were always hanging out together. And I was like, maybe we have our first throuple in the villa. I wouldn't hate it if we had like a rectangle of Trinity, Kayda, Zach, and Bryce. That's a powerful square. Yeah. Like, I would love to see that forever. It's like, if you haven't looked online, there are a million heated rivalry edits for you of Zach and Bryce where they're like, oh, not me. Like, I'm obsessed with the two of them. I want them to ride off into the sunset together. I really love them.
They love each other, and it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful to watch their courtship. I also have under my strongest connections Bryce and his Timbs. He loves wearing them. He loves talking about them. Loves his Timbs.
Well, and he and Trinity were wearing Timbs together.
That was very cute. Sincere and a metaphor are a strong connection. At one point, he was like, look, if you pray for the rain, you got to deal with the mud, and then you got to see, like, what grows in the garden. I don't know how he comes up with these things. Like, I think it's a lot of the time it's just off the dome. He speaks almost exclusively in metaphors. He is like the Shakespeare of this season of Love Island. Also, you know, the producers of the show and whatever bed company they've been using are one of my strongest connections.
If I don't get a behind-the-scenes tour on the Love Island USA Instagram or TikTok about those beds, it is a missed opportunity. And also, now I'm at the point where I'm like, well, do we just need, like a Transformers type bed that like takes up the width of the island? Like, are we pushing like bed logic at this point?
I mean, we've established rule of threes would establish that we're getting a third, even bigger bed.
Oh, we're gonna get a bed island. Maybe that's Casa More, is that it's just one giant
just a floating bed.
Go there. Yeah,
I'd be fine
a water
with that.
bed. I mean, honestly, I was like, I couldn't stop staring at her tiggle bitties, but Saul and like her bikini, like she's got big old boobies. Like, they are. I was like, look, I couldn't stop looking at them. I was like, they're like, strong. Her and those bikini. I was like, they're holding them up. I was like, as someone who has big old bitties, I gotta say, sometimes I am a breast woman, and I do just like, I
hear you.
I couldn't stop looking at her boobs when she was like talking to Sincere.
Yeah. So
my eyeballs and Saul's breast.
I also think there was that one outfit that Trinity wore where I couldn't tell where it was like a white outfit, and I couldn't tell what was keeping like her boobs covered, and I was like, the invisible string, that's a strong connection right there. Yeah, so those are our strongest connections currently. Let's move on to how we voted. So we were voting for, the votes were, who should Soul couple up with? I said Sincere. Great. The next vote was also, who should Jen couple up with? I said Zach. I mean, I really like Zach and Kayda, but like, I don't really see anybody else that Jen, I don't think she should couple up with Gabriel, because I think that then the next time a new round of bombshells comes in, he's just going to want to make out with them regardless.
Oh, I will, and I'll say, I hate to say, that move he made on Jen would work on me. I hate to tell you, her teaching her the Portuguese, I was like,
I know.
Unfortunately, that would, one drink in, that one or two drinks in, that would get me.
I know. I had the same thought, unfortunately. And then the last thing, Caleb and Kenzie, that's pretty obvious to me. Like, I'm sorry, Corbin, but like, your days are numbered. Your days are numbered. Like, Caleb and Kenzie just make sense together.
Apparently, I think because everyone is feeling a type of way about Saul, Sincere, and Melanie. The app crashed, so they extended voting until 12 p.m. because normally it's only open for 2 to 3 hours after the episode, but the app crashed. Also, if you had issues registering your number, I, of course, had to go into my Reddit warriors who told me in the app, if it's saying you've maximum number of registrations reached, you have to also add the one that you put for the country code. The one in front of, but in addition to that, you also put that in your phone number. So it's like 1 and then 1 and your phone number, and then it worked. So I was able to vote. So if you, if you are voting, stay in line. Your vote for the Islanders will be canceled. Exercise your democracy. This is your time to make your voice heard. Vote for your couples. Vote for your Sims. That is the important part about all of this. So we'll know by Thursday evening what the results of our votes are, and I really am excited. I love when we get to vote, because I think that is like the fun piece in all of this, is that we, as much as they get a say on the island, we get a say on the outside watching the dynamics unfold, and that's very fun.
It is very fun. And as we bring this to a close, I just want to say, bumper cars, we're like bumper cars. Did you hear that song that they've...
Well, because they've also used bumper cars on the last 2 seasons, so we will have an external day where they go bumper cars. So that song, I was like, this is one of the worst songs I've ever heard. I mean, all of they've paid a lot of money for music, like real music, but some of the like actual reality TV show music is so funny, and that bumper car song was just sending me over the edge. That, and I will say before we like wrap this up, also one of the funny internet things related to our Euphoria recap, someone has pointed out that Sincere looks like Rue
a little bit,
and I haven't been unable to see that. I see Rue and there was someone put on like Threads or Twitter, they said, oh, Rue was reincarnated onto her favorite dating show.
She did love Island.
We found her, so I'm thrilled that Rue is in a better place. I can't wait to see what happens in week 2. Again, we've got a season. I just love, I never know what they're going to put our little Sims into, and I can't wait to see.
It's going to be great. Thank you for joining us for this recap. We will be back next week with another recap of the second week. In the meantime, we've got lots of other fun stuff on our channel. We just finished recapping the 3rd season of Euphoria. We've got some Sex and the City original series recaps with guests. Lots of fun. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Make sure you're following us here. And we will see you next week, Islanders. Oh, boy.
And let us know in the comments what you're feeling.
Yes,
we've got to know. We would. This is the show for conversation, and we got to know what you think and feel.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.